Daenerys will be resurrected, and Drogo is not the last dragon. A very interesting idea. And this is by the Three-Eyed Raven, one of the best channels on YouTube for Game of Thrones lore and theories. Oh no. Am I the only one who finds it a little bit funny? Because he still kisses her no matter what, even though at that point he knows she's his aunt. And they still do it, and then he stabs her. He could have stabbed her before, but no. He still goes in for it, and then only does it.
When we saw Drogon taking Daenerys' body, we thought it was a sad moment in the life of this dragon. After all, he is the last of his kind to live on this planet. Or is he?
No. Like, of course he is not. What are the chances that every single dragon was there at the Doom of Valyria? Zero. Obviously someone's gonna be somewhere else. Obviously there are wild dragons still left.
What would you think if I told you that Drogon is not the last dragon in Game of Thrones, and other dragons could represent a new threat in Jon Snow's series?
Ice dragons, maybe? Oof. Now that's pretty loud.
Do you want to know more?
Yeah?
Stay tuned to this video. And if you like everything related to the Game of Thrones universe, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Three-Eyed Raven.
Good channel.
To understand why Drogon is not the last dragon, and how this connects to Jon Snow's series,
Dude, when the dragon just melted the throne because yes, melt the thing that represents oppression. What an ending.
We must transport ourselves to a vision Bran Stark, the Three-Eyed Raven, had in the books. The prophecy reads as follows. He lifted his eyes and saw clearly across the narrow sea, towards the free cities and the green Dothraki Sea and beyond. Toward V's Dothrak beneath his mountain.
Wise Dothrak, city of the horse lords.
Toward the legendary lands of the Jade Sea, toward Ass-High by the shadows, where dragons stirred beneath the dawn. Finally, he looked to the north. He saw the wall shining like blue glass, and his bastard brother Jon sleeping alone in a cold bed, his skin turning pale and hard as the memory of all warmth fled from him.
Okay.
And he looked beyond the wall, beyond endless snow-covered forests, beyond the frozen coast and the great rivers of blue and white ice, and the dead plains where nothing grew or lived. He looked north, toward the curtain of light at the end of the world, and then beyond that curtain. He looked deep into the heart of winter, and then he cried out in fright. And the heat from his tears burned his cheeks. Bran has this vision after he falls out of the window because of Jaime Lannister, so the fact that Bran sees a danger in the north, and dragons in Ass-High is very interesting. But especially the fact that he sees his brother Jon sleeping on the wall. This is Bran's first prophetic vision. The interesting thing about this is that it could be a vision of something that has not yet happened.
Maybe.
When reading this vision, we might think that Bran is seeing Jon in the north as he had just rejoined the Night's Watch, but there is something that doesn't make sense in this vision. Bran mentions that he saw dragons in Ass-High by the shadow, at dawn. There are two options. Either there are more dragons in this universe, or Bran was having a vision of the future. A future that has not yet happened in Game of Thrones.
Interesting.
First, let's look at the option where more dragons exist in this universe. To understand why Drogon might not be the last dragon, we must transport ourselves to a time long before Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Possibly long before the creation of the city of Valyria. There are legends that say that dragons and dragon lords could be found in the most remote regions of Essos, especially in Sithorios and Ass-High. It is believed that the first people to tame dragons were inhabitants of Ass-High by the Shadow, and they achieved this through blood magic. then traveled to Valyria where they taught Daenerys' ancestors how to ride these wild creatures.
The Shadowlands by their own lonesome would be probably the most interesting series that you could get. Honestly, that's my opinion. The Shadowlands, all of that good stuff, the gray Blackstone and whatnot. Oh, there's so many interesting things. Fish people, gorillas that are as big as houses. All of that stuff sounds perfect, honestly, for some kind of spin-off series of Game of Thrones style. It would be great.
If this is the case, it means that the vision Bran had was not about Drogon, but about dragons that still exist in this world, but that we have not seen. On one occasion, Daenerys mentions that she had heard the origin of the dragons came from Ass High. However, there is something that contradicts this perspective. And that is because George Martin mentioned this vision of Bran was a prophetic vision, something from the future.
Huh.
If this is the case, it does not make sense that Bran saw dragons in Ass High, unless this was Daenerys' destiny in the future. Daenerys received the 3 dragon eggs that allowed her to become a threat in Westeros. These dragon eggs are believed to have come from the lands of Ass High. Later, a masked woman gives Daenerys advice and hints that Daenerys should head towards Ass High. And in the House of the Undying, one of them tells Daenerys that in order to turn on the light, she must pass under the shadow, which many have interpreted as a command for Daenerys to travel to this ancient city.
True.
But do we know if Bran's vision is a prophecy or a memory of the past? In 2015, the original idea for Game of Thrones was published, an article of which we will be creating.
Now, the thing about this is, the Jon Snow series is definitely gonna have dragons, because why would you not have dragons at this point? Like, think about it. You have the CGI, technically it fits, you can just literally say, hey, they just randomly flew here from, I don't know, that direction right there. And it still makes sense, It still does make sense to a degree. So, the chances that there are no dragons in the Jon Snow city are probably close to absolute zero, because it's just such a cool thing, and obviously they're gonna try and market it that it has dragons and whatnot. There is no world where I see where there aren't any dragons.
Creating a video soon. In this article, it is revealed whether this vision of Bran is a vision of the past, present, or future. We can read a writing from George Martin's own hands from 1993 where he says the following. Young Bran will come out of his coma after having a strange prophetic dream, only to discover that he will never walk again.
Oh no.
He will turn to magic, initially in hopes of restoring his legs, but later on his own. When her father Ned Stark is executed, Bran will see the shape of fate descending upon them all. However, nothing he says can stop his brother Robb from summoning the forces into rebellion. This confirms that Bran's vision is from the future. The most important piece of this puzzle has fallen into place. Now that Jon Snow is back in the north, and Drogon is headed to Volantis with Daenerys' body, the vision Bran had could make sense.
Wait, how do we know that he's going there with her body? Maybe he just took the body away so he can, have a meal on the way. You never know these things, right? That's a possibility. Admittedly, obviously, kind of joking, and I doubt it. But hey, we don't know this. We don't know what's happening here. I don't think anything has been said concrete about this stuff. So, yeah. She might as well be resurrected or whatnot. No, wouldn't be the first character to get rezzed.
If Bran saw past the end of Game of Thrones, this could explain why he saw dragons in Ass High. Which could mean that Drogon was not only on his way to Volantis, but that he could carry Daenerys' body to Ass High, the place where he had already been prophesied that she must go. We can also see in the vision that Bran sees Jon sleeping in the north. If Drogon is really going to carry Daenerys' body to Ass High, simultaneously Jon would be in the north, since it was there where we saw him at the end of Game of Thrones. And the most disturbing thing about the vision is that Bran sees how there is something beyond in the north that caused him to cry. If Bran's vision is really from the future, it means that Drogon is heading towards Ass-High, that there's
Maybe in the north now we're gonna deal with spiders, because that was a thing that no one actually ever shown us in the show. Because spiders are a thing, you know, the whites are supposed to actually be riding spiders or something like that, frost spiders. So that's a very interesting thing that we did not get to see. Would be pretty hype, honestly.
There's still danger beyond the wall in the north, and the story is not over. Is it Daenerys' destiny to resurrect and travel to Ass-High to find more dragons, or to discover the real danger that is coming? Was Bran's vision really a prophecy of
Another real danger that's coming? Please, please.
something that has not yet happened? Let me know what you think about this theory.
Good
Are there
theory.
more dragons we
Interesting.
haven't seen yet?
Yes, definitely.
If you like this content, I invite you to become a
Definitely.
member of this channel.
Well, I told you, that was pretty good. Very interesting. Hey, if there's a chance that she gets rezzed and starts, you know, plundering and doing bad things again, I honestly would love to go to see a full 100% crazy queen of dragons. That would be pretty interesting. And Jon Snow maybe getting a frost dragon or an ice dragon, that would be even better. Ice dragons do exist, I think, technically, and they're way bigger than the average dragon. So that would be also very fun. Frost spiders, more White Walkers and whatnot, the kings. You know, there's so many interesting possibilities right there.